I'm Anil Kumar. Here is a very interesting question on quadratic functions. The question is, determine the equation of the parabola with zeros at 3 plus minus square root 3 that passes through minus 5, 6. We can actually do it in a couple of ways, but I'll solve this in a very standard way in this particular video. And I'll also provide you a link of similar question which we have done in a different way, the alternate method. At times, the alternate method may be very effective. Now, since we are given a point, we're talking about a very specific quadratic function which has zeros identified and also the point, right? So we'll write the general form, that is y equals to a times x minus x1, where x1 is first x-intercept, the other one is x2 for us. So these x-intercepts are the zeros, and in our case what we are given here is that x1 is equals to, we can take this as x plus 3 plus square root 3, and x2 is given to us as 3 minus square root 3. So two zeros are given to us. We need to also find the value of a, which we can do since it passes through a particular point. Let's say that point is minus 5, 6. That is the information given to us. So let's begin. So we'll substitute the value of x1 and x2. So we get a x minus. So it's good to write them in brackets since this is minus 3 minus square root 3. So we'll use the first one, which is plus for us, okay, times x minus 3 minus square root 3. Okay, now let's open this bracket first. So we have a times x minus 3 minus square root 3 x minus 3 plus square root 3, correct? So whenever you get radicals, we need to see how we can simplify it. So the idea is, if I treat this as one term, correct, then what we have here is a times, let us say this term minus square root 3, this term plus square root 3. Does that remind you of something? It's like difference of squares, correct? So I hope you remember that if we have difference of squares, that is to say, we'll apply a formula here. The formula is, if we have, let's say, p minus q times p plus q, what do you get? We get p square minus q square, correct? In our case, p is equals to x minus 3 and q is equals to square root of 3. Do you see that? So we'll apply this formula and then expand. So we get a times, and we use square brackets since we have two types of brackets involved, this square minus that square. So that is x minus 3 whole square minus square of square root 3, correct? That is what we get. So let's expand this further to simplify. So now we'll apply the second formula, which is, let's say p minus q whole square should be equal to what? It is p square minus 2pq plus q square, correct? So let's apply this formula, expand it. So we have x square minus 2 times 3 is 6, 6x plus 3 square, which is 9, minus square of square root 3 will be 3, right? So we get that. So we have a times x square minus 6x, 9 minus 3 is, 6x, right? 9 minus 3 is 6, 6. So we have that function. So let me rewrite this function, y equals to a times x square minus 6x, plus 6, okay. Right. So that is the function which we have got. Now we need to find the value of a, right? So what we don't know here is the value of a. Since we are given this point, we can find that specific parabola which goes through this point and these two zeros. So for that, we'll substitute the given point and calculate, correct? So we'll now write down the equation itself, which is y equals to a times this thing x squared minus 6x plus 6, and we'll substitute the point P, which is minus 5 times 5, 6. Those are the coordinates, right? So when we substitute, 6 is the y value, so y is 6 equals to a times, let me again use the square brackets, x is minus 5. So we have minus 5 squared minus 6 times minus 5 plus 6, right? So that gives us a times minus 5 squared is 25, that makes plus 30, and then we have plus 6, right? So we can add all this up, so we get what? 25 plus 30 is 55, 55 plus 6 is 61, right? So we kind of get 61 here. So A is equals to 6 over 61. Okay, 6 over 61 is the value of A. So you can actually check the calculations. I might have done some mistakes in the calculations, which I normally do anyway. So that seems to be my answer. A is 6 over 61. So we can now substitute this and kind of open the bracket, right? So we'll do that. So what we get here is y, A is 6 over 61. So we can write this as y equals to 6 over 61 times x squared minus 6x plus 6, correct? So that is the equation. You can actually open this up and write it in fractions. I hope that helps. I'm Anil Kumar. You can share and subscribe my videos. Thank you and all the best.